But it's always the guys who are just like, well, I can just stay longer. Stuff will be, continue happening. I can have my strong zeros from Lawson and my nugs, and I only have to work 6 hours a day, 4 days a week, and that's it. And I can maintain my visa. And I'm not earning enough, but I'm earning enough to, sit on my ass, play PlayStation, and lose my hair until the age of 37 when my wife of two children, who has given me two children, is wondering why I haven't actually made a career. Why aren't we in a bigger house? Why aren't you doing anything with your life? And it's just, this cycle of self-destruction that kind of continues, and you see it on Reddit week after week after week. Help, my wife is divorcing me and threatening to take away my kids. What can I do? Why come Japan?
Hey. You just saved everything up just for that one statement right there, right? You just came on here just so you could say that, right?
Yeah, it's like in a movie when they say the title of the movie.
Oh,
it's
okay.
Like, it's time for you to die hard. I don't think that actually happened.
It did not.
Hello everyone, welcome to another edition of Why Come Japan. I'm your host Radri, where I interview creatives about their content and how it relates to Japan. And today on my show is Nick and Jay from King of Kanto podcast. King of Kanto podcast is a weekly show hosted by three expats named Cam, Jay, and Nick, where they dedicate their time commenting on popular, independently produced content creators here in Japan. Several of these creators discussed about on their show have in fact appeared on this podcast as interviewees. Tokyo Drew, Tikyo Sam, Gimme Breakman, and many others, to name a few. And chances are, if you're listening or watching this podcast, you probably have partaken in a lot of other independently produced content made about Japan. Maybe it goes without saying, but my guess is that you are also familiar with how much Japan-related content there is online by creators just like me.
So we kind of realized through, again, this other podcast we're listening to, and it was the biggest problem in the universe with Maddox and Dick Masterson, that we could take elements of that and kind of apply it to Japan on a critical level, because all of us have been here, in Japan for nearly a decade, and all of the content that comes out is all the fucking same. Mm-hmm. So we'd just be sharing like cringe with each other, like, hey, get a load of Totemo Drew or anything like that. And we'd be like, okay, fuck it. Let's just make a podcast where we analyze their content, not necessarily shit on, but analyze through the lens of three alcoholic, disenfranchised, nearly middle-aged men.
Well, okay. You're the only one who's nearly middle-aged. Cam and I are middle-aged. Nick's the baby.
Yeah, I'm the baby.
We kind of came up with the concept of nominating somebody because we're like, well, every week we should have a subject and talk about them. But then the biggest problem in the universe, the two hosts, they each brought up a subject, and then the following week people voted on it. And they had this long running list. And so I believe it was Nick and I, we said, hey, we should kind of have a voting mechanism as well. And so the winner at the end of the season, when we have not predetermined when the season will end, it's just kind of ongoing. We'll just have a nominee, and then whenever we decide to end it, that person will be the King of Kanto.
Yeah, and hint to what that might be. It's true. It's definitely true. I don't see anybody. Yeah, I don't see anybody superseding Drew anytime soon. That dude has just made himself such a fixture of the vlogging community that everyone watches him with a mixture of horror and excitement.
Can I say you started this podcast because you wanted to dunk on Drew?
He wasn't even our first episode.
Yeah, he wasn't. He was on the list. We did Ryan Boundless because we thought, oh, it'd be funny if we watch his porn. And that episode is trash. Every time friends of mine...
I like that episode. just for reference.
It's good after the first 45 minutes, I reckon. But it's, getting on your training wheels. I mean, we all had to learn about audio editing and mic setup and stuff like that. So
okay, no. I had to learn about. I edit everything. It takes like 4 hours to get a 1 hour episode out. So
yeah, exactly. So I mean, we did have to get our training wheels, and I dare say we're still on it as well, because none of us are AV guys. None of us were particularly engaged with the ideas of kind of projecting your own personality outwards online. But it just kind of happened, and we like the opportunity just to sit down on a Thursday and kind of blow off a bit of steam by looking at some cringy content, and we managed to do it fucking consistently, even though we have to edit the podcast and we release it on Monday evenings. No matter what, we do it 7:30 on Thursday nights every week. And I think that's kind of one of the keys to it. We managed to actually maintain that consistency.
One of the things I think we can owe whatever modicum of success we've had or notoriety is that we do have a body of work at this point, and the consistency of every Monday there's a new episode. So we don't get questions like, hey, how do you do a good podcast? But like, that's
no, none of them are good, but all of them are consistent.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like, we produce trash every Monday, but you know what? We're consistent.
Yeah. And our fan base are the raccoons. They love it.
So wait, you've said, Nick, that you wish that like some J vlogger should be cast into the sun. I'm pretty sure you said this in one of your episodes. This is just me paraphrasing, but
it sounds like me.
Okay.
And if it wasn't, then I will say it now.
All right.
You did say it because I added on a Falcon 9. We need Elon's help with this.
All right.
Make it happen.
Would you say you have a very love-hate relationship with J vloggers, people who make content here in Japan?
I mean, we don't hate anyone. Maybe we're looking at doing an episode on gaijingoomba this week. Spoiler alert. And I've never actually going through the videos just this afternoon. I've never had such a reaction of pure white hatred against anybody the way that I have had with watching gaijingoomba's videos.
Wow.
So, people like Kathy Cat or Kelly Marita or Daniel Law, those types of people, even Drew, you don't hate them. It's just, this is the low quality content that kind of feeds the churn of Japan, vending machines. I'm an expert because I have a YouTube channel, when none of us are pertaining to be experts, any more than any of these J vloggers. But what we want them to do is kind of cut out some bullshit.
Yeah,
okay.
I think we serve a purpose, actually. I don't want to pound on Kelly Marita again, but her and other people, they present an image of Japan. Her and other folks have, they put this image of Japan forward, and it's not quite accurate. And I like being, I'm going to call myself a troll. The other guys, maybe they don't want to be called that, but
no, we don't like being called trolls. We're auteurs.
Okay, they're auteurs. I'm the troll.
All right. Okay. All right.
I'm the troll. But we serve a purpose no matter what we call ourselves. And we kind of have to correct the ship when it lists to one side, because if somebody is presenting misinformation, somebody has to go, hey, yeah, that's not exactly right. Here's what's really going on. And if you can do it with a strong in your hand and have a good laugh, why not?
Yeah, there's an element of kind of dissecting the misinformation more than actually presenting information. So in that extent, I think what we do is definitely parallel to the work of the great men and women of JCJ who, they pull apart a lot of the kind of stupid questions and a lot of the ignorance regarding Japan and kind of shit on it a little bit. So what we've noticed is that you get two distinct camps within Japan, whether it be online or in person. and it's the people who take themselves entirely too seriously. So those, particularly in the teaching community, I think you find it that people definitely, and after watching a lot of the gaijingoomba stuff, this is what I've learned, people take themselves so horrendously seriously to the point of being grimdark. They won't take any criticism. They can't laugh at themselves, and there's no real self-awareness. And then you've got the other camp, the people who are a little bit more jaded, but I'd probably put myself in this camp as well. Part of being jaded also kind of means being very self-deprecating, being able to realize your own situation in life. A lot of people, they ended up here. I mean, I'm going great. But, they ended up here. It wasn't exactly what they thought, but they made a real fucking good job of it. They've got decent lives, family. They don't complain online to Reddit about how to turn on your washing machine. So you get the more jaded but very, very well-adjusted people. And then you get the I'm a scream on YouTube about vending machines for 3 hours type of people. And I think that's kind of a big part of what we want to reveal, especially to communities outside of Japan.
Yeah. And also, we love videos about vending machines. In fact,
love them.
I just saw Totemo Drew's video about vending machines. I'm sure it was his first and only one. So enjoy it, people. It's never coming around again.
Wait, are you being serious? You like videos on vending machines?
No, I fucking hate them. Okay. Come on, man.
Right. Okay.
Everybody. I got it's a vending machine. Look, they have a Coca-Cola in it. Wow, thanks. That was worth 6 minutes of my life.
Kathy Cat, did you know that the bottles actually come out with the cap facing the left-hand side so you can reach in with your left hand and open with your right? Wow, Japan is so enlightened.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
She really says this?
She insinuated, but she had full lesson on the coin goes in, it comes out like this. You open with this hand, put in this hand, open with this hand. It's absolutely mental. The absolute mad lad. You can't stop Kathy Cat. She's gonna put in coins and show you how to open a fucking bottle.
And of course, we need this from a 40-ish-year-old woman in a Lolita dress. I mean, that's just the icing on the cake. And honestly, if she just made that video without the dress, we'd be like, okay, this isn't really worthy of our attention. But because she is who she is, we're like, well, guess what? You're episode 14.
Yeah. Her outfit screams borderline personality disorder.
Yeah.
All right. Well, there's a lot to unpack there. Okay, well, I think mostly with vending machines, they're really popular online. I don't know why everybody wants to see vending machines in Japan.
It's in Japan. That's it. It's a vending machine. It's in Japan.
Okay, that's it. That's the appeal. Because I have a bunch of other YouTuber friends, and they make vending machine videos only because it's good for the views, and that's it.
I don't understand why it's good for the views, but some of our nominees they're subjects because they don't actually have a personality. They're not like, hey man, I'm Doug, I play magic cards and I like this. It's like, I'm Doug, I live in Japan. I live in Japan. And you're like, cool, Doug, what are you doing today? Walking around in Japan. What'd you have for lunch today? Some sushi in Japan. And you're like, okay, dude, I get it. Like I live here too.
This basically describes guys like abroad in Japan, where their kind of content is so futsu that there's nothing to unpack from it. So I'm hoping that we get to a big enough stage that somebody will come up and actually tell us abroad in Japan's sexual preferences and how weird they are, like if he's into vor or something like that.
Yeah. Charlotte, call us.
You said that because you said you didn't want to use the word hate and you don't want to really use the word love when it comes to like explaining, these Japan creators, people who make.
Oh, it's perversion. I'll give you a word. Okay. It's perversion.
Arousal.
Right.
It's pure voyeurism, which is why we do it. And I think people don't really understand that. We don't come in with an attitude of instantly, this is somebody to shit on. We've already seen your content, so we already know about it. It's just, oh God, we want to talk about it.
Right. Well, the reason why I bring up the love-hate thing was because, like filmmakers like Tommy Wiseau. You know who that is, right?
Oh, of
The
course.
guy who made
Yeah,
The
so
Room.
I spent 5 years going to midnight sessions of A Room before it got popular.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, the
I
reason
love
why-
trash.
Yeah. No, the reason why I'm bringing him up is I'm guessing it's probably a like how people like Tommy Wiseau's The Room, you know, how it's kind of like it's not high quality content. It's this like something you make fun of because you like it because it's so awful.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think there's an element of we like making poor quality content about poor quality content.
There's something magical about it, and it
Yeah.
seems to be working.
All right. Is there an overall goal that you're trying to reach with this podcast, or is it just purely a hobby?
No,
No.
it's literally a hobby.
Okay.
Yeah, we honestly, if nobody listened to us, I would still get together on a Thursday. Like, we lose money every month. This is not a profitable enterprise by any stretch.
Right.
So, I mean, we have Patreons, but they like make us not lose as much money every month. So, and that's cool because like we're kind of developing a community. Obviously, we're on Discord, and you have a Patreon, and everybody can see our one bonus episode, which of course caused drama again. But yeah, like we're just having a good time.
Yeah, in a lot of our research, we kind of use besides YouTube, we use 4 main sources. One would be JCJ, of course. Again,
people
those
what
honorable.
JCJ is. JC Penny. JC.
Yeah, it's Japan Circle Jerk. It is a subreddit dedicated to essentially what we're doing, which is finding
JCJ
content.
the podcast.
No,
We've always said we're
I'm kidding.
We've always said we're JC adjacent.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, JC adjacent.
Philosophically, we are aligned, but we are two separate entities.
Yeah. Although Cam and I do enjoy our bits and bobs of shit posting on the Reddits. We use Twitter and Kiwi Farms and Pretty Ugly Little Liars, which long may it rest. And now your watch has ended. Pretty Ugly Little Liars and Kiwi Farms are essentially communities dedicated to following internet personalities that they deem to be lolcows.
Okay.
I wouldn't exactly say they are. I mean, if you think that Reddit is toxic, these communities, Pretty Ugly Little Liars and Kiwi Farms, they kind of find people and even people in the J-vlogging community, and they tend to follow them and meticulous. There's actually one other, which is like Kiwi Farms. It's called Lolcow. They find these people and they meticulously catalog everything they do and say, which is in any way cringy. So again, it's a little bit creepy and stalkerish, but it's kind of provided a great resource of information when we need to quickly put an episode together. So we utilize those sources. JCJ is kind of one. And yeah, it's the more shitposty side of the Japan gaijin community, but it exists, and I actually dare say it's much bigger than what these J-vloggers realize.
Okay, so with all this in mind, what would you like to see? I mean, like, what makes good Japan content? Because, I mean, like, I'd point to some people, like, if there's going to be one person I point to that makes good Japan content, I guess it would be abroad in Japan, but that's about it, in terms of, like, production value. But like you were saying earlier, it's like it says the actual content of itself, it's not particularly that interesting.
Yeah, I mean, we focus on cringe, and I think Chris actually does decent content. I just watched his Abandoned Love Hotel Halloween video. That was pretty good. I mean, he does a decent job at things. He collabs with some of the older J vloggers who are no longer here, and that's how I found out about him. People like Rachel and June, and they're it's very mundane content. It's not like super exciting, but it's also not really cringy. I mean, there's a little bit every here and there just to tell a joke. But like,
there's for people like Rachel and June abroad in Japan, and maybe even, although we did an episode on her, Chameleon as well, the content is just so generic.
With her, our tagline was generic content with King of Kanto. And it was just, we talked about the vending machine. We talked about Japan, everything she is one of the people like Kelly. Her personality is, I live in Japan. I'm Charmeleon. And I don't have any interests except for the fact that I'm currently in this country. Ooh.
Yeah, so there's people like that. In terms of what we'd like to see out of J-vlogger, anything like that. Again, it's do something new. You don't actually find many J-vloggers, shock horror, talking to Japanese people. Isn't that funny? Like actually trying to get locals' opinions on real topics, not just, oh, would you date a foreigner? Oh, I think they're cool. Oh, maybe not. I like beards. I don't like beards. Like shit like that. It's just done. You can fucking do it already. Be a little bit unique.
Yeah, there's a 1,000 videos on vending machines. There's 1,000 videos on Tokyo Tower. Do something else. Seriously.
And just know that like the sex in Japan or what Japanese women like, those types of videos, they get the clicks. We get it. You're doing that because you want a popular video. Fine, whatever. But again, you can do that. A lot
of sex pests that want to learn about that stuff. So,
yeah, I want a submissive Japanese girlfriend. How do I get one?
So can I say like content like that? What's a Japanese guy Yuta, an Asian boss? Is that the kind of content you think is like you put?
Asian boss does an excellent job because they look at the topical things in the region. In Indonesia, they're in India, they're in China, they're in Korea, and they're here. Asian Boss, I think, is an excellent example of just straight up good work. They would never be a subject on our podcast. Oh, really? They are
but also
high production values, great interviews, and they produce interesting content. And Charla is never going to do something like that. Kelly's never going to do anything like that. We're never going to do anything like that. It's just good. It's just good content.
I think if somebody was actually, you get a lot of the fresh off boat people who make the J vlogs thinking that they're going to be the next big thing or whatever because people leave the country, some people stay. But what about other content of people who, working in corporate environments, working in jobs which are a little bit more uncommon, like construction or something like that? I think that would be interesting, like to get a perspective on not just what it's like teaching English in Japan, but going a little bit beyond that. Some of the ASMR channels do pretty well, walking tours in Japan, which is technically a violation of privacy. You're not really meant to take film of everyone's faces like that, but Tokyo Drew proves that you can just buck the trend and just kind of gaijin smash your way through your entire life. So I guess that works. I don't know if there was like a pink salon tour of a PG rated pink salon tour of Japan. I think I'd probably subscribe to that. I think that'd be pretty interesting.
Okay, I see.
So somebody literally filming themselves out the front of like a blowjob bar going, this is where I'm going today and I have booked in with X. And at the end, it's just like, technique, 7 out of 10. Enthusiasm, 5 out of 10. That would be fucking funny.
I'd like to say that I really like the redemption arc that you did with Sam, with Tikio Sam, about how you said he could probably fix some of his content. Do you ever feel like you could make this part of a staple of your show where you kind of give them redemption arcs in a way?
Fuck no. Oh, yeah. It didn't go great the first time.
What do you mean it didn't go great the first time?
Here's the thing.
Okay.
When we started the show, we had... it was almost 30 names on this list. Okay. These are the people we can nominate, right?
Okay.
Nick or Cam put Tikio Sam on the list. Never heard of him before this June when we started doing this podcast.
Oh, really?
So I looked into his content and I said, I really don't see this guy as a nominee. And, of course, it took 19 episodes and he was. Sorry, Nick, go ahead.
I do like the concept of a redemption arc, but honestly, I don't think it's our job to fix people's content. I mean, we're not we're not producers, we're not anything like that. Sometimes if the mood takes us, I guess we can kind of make suggestions, but
hold on it's not for every episode is a redemption arc because we are critiquing the things they should not do. Right?
You are As
I'm
old
halfway
as you
there.
are wise.
All right. So no.
Yeah,
redemption.
I think no redemption just yet.
Okay.
But for Sam, look,
Ooh,
we
bonus
had a chat
content,
with him, and
redemption episodes.
yeah, we had a good chat with him as well. So you know, it's also us just kind of, it's a little bit of tit for tat. I think it's fun at this point. You know, I don't think we've really actually got hard feelings against anyone.
No, not really.
It's just nah. I think it's just, you know, we like doing this, and people are essentially our content, so we're going to keep doing it. And pretty much as soon as it stops being fun, that's when we stop doing it. We're not stopping when we've got like 2,000 downloads, 5,000 downloads an episode. We'd stop when it stops being fun, and at this stage, it's still fun.
Jay, Nick, and I continued our conversation about the types of people who create this amateur content as people who have, as Nick states, entered this phase of arrested development. People who have had trouble trying to improve their lives post living in Japan after a long duration. If you'd like to hear more, consider becoming a Patreon member for full episodes of what you just heard. My patrons, at the moment, as it stands, are Dustin Portesi, Ozzy Awesome, Drift Hunter Elbow, and Alec John.
All right, well, that's all I have for today. Anything you want to say before we go?
I'll let Jay do the plugging. Yeah.
Yeah. So kingofkanto.com is our website. We're on all the RSS feeds. You can find us on iTunes. Please vote for a nominee. And let me see. We're King of Kanto Pod 1 on Twitter. Did not choose that name. But yeah, drop us a line. Send us an email. Whatever you want to do. We're fun guys. But please listen to our podcast. It's a good time. But yeah, thanks for having us on, Radri. We appreciate it. It was a good time.
Yeah,
and
no problem.
yeah, it's great.
And okay, so yeah, until then, I'm Radri, and
I'm Jay,
and I'm Kanye West.
And hey, Kanye West. Hey, Jay.
Why come Japan?
Jesus, man.
Did you enjoy